Okay, so now we have completed the generating the output products. So now the next step is to go to the SDK and then write a software for the microblaze. So click on export hardware, okay, and then click on launch SDK, and then we'll go to the corresponding SDK. Okay, so in the SDK, now you can see that you have the AXI DMA IP, then you have the fixed to float IP and the square root IP in addition to the other IP. Now, as we did in the previous lab, we are going to create a new application project, lab 11 demo. We are going to use the platform which we have exported and the C code, and we will create a BSP. So click on finish. So the BSP is created. In the demo folder, we need to go to the source and we'll create a new application source. So new source file, lab 11 demo.c. Okay. So in this one, what we need to do, first we need to add the necessary files. As usual, the most important file is the include xparameters.h. Then the next important file is the DMA, because we are going to use the DMA. Here we are not going to directly communicate with the IP, so we don't care about the .h file of the IP. We are whatever the communication we'll have, one is with your DMA and the second is with your block RAM. So for the DMA, we need to see which file we need to use. We need to use xaxi dma.h. Okay, so this is the one file we need to use, and then for the block RAM, we need to communicate with the block RAM. There is a standard io.h is there, so I'll see which one is there in the block RAM. So in the block RAM, there is a block RAM.h, which is the file is there which can be used for the communication with the block RAM. But here we are not using the block RAM as a IP. We are using the block RAM as a memory. So here I'll use the some alternate way where I use the file called xio.h. Using this xio.h, you can read and write from any address. So you can see that it's a memory map system. So you can read and write 8-bit data, 32-bit data, or 16-bit data or 64-bit data. So I'm just using the block RAM as a memory, and that's why I'll use the xio.h. Then I'll have the int function. So important thing is the DMA. So in the DMA again, you need to follow the same process. You need to understand the .h file, and then you need to do the you need to do the appropriate initialization and configuration. Okay, so inside the DMA, there are different functions are there. It depends upon whether you use a simple DMA or scattered gather DMA. So here you can see that for DMA, there are two structures are there. Okay, so based upon, so we need to create we need to initialize two structure. One is the DMA structure and one is the configuration structure. Okay, so each one has the some different set of information. So if you want to know more or spend more time, you can look into the corresponding the data set. Here we are going to use only simple DMA. We are not going to use the scatter gather, so our things are much simpler. Okay, so what we are going to do is that we need to send the data to the block RAM. Then we need to use the DMA to copy the data from the block RAM, send to the IP, and then from the IP we need to DMA needs to receive the data and send to the block RAM. So let's see that we have this data, say a vector. Okay, so let's say input data, which is a vector. Let's assume that the data size is 8. So 4, 9. So we are going to take the square root. So I'm just using some simple value, 4, 9, 16. Now I'll use 28. So output will be the non-integer. So we have 28, then 40, then 55, and 76. Okay. Then we need to write it to the at the particular location. Write this data at the particular location. So since we are going to use the block RAM, what we are going to do, we are going to write this data at the first 8 location of the block RAM. So what is the block RAM address? We need to look into the xparameter.h file, and you will see that this is the your base address of the the start address of the block RAM. You can verify this from your IP. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to first do the write operation inside the block RAM. So I'm going to copy this into my initial address of the block RAM. Okay. And then I'll write a for loop for int I is equal to 0, I is less than 8, I plus plus. So what the processor is doing, processor is creating the preparing the data for the DMA inside the block RAM. And what we are going to use, we are going to use the xio out 32 function, where it we need to give the address and we need to give the what is the data to be returned. So xio out 32, what is the address? This is the initial address for the first data. And what is the data? That is the first data of this one. Okay, so I have written the first data, so I need to write the 8 data, so I need to increment the address. And since I'm going to write the 32 bits of data, I need to increment the address by 4, because the block RAM address is the byte addressable. So you need to increment the address by 4 so that it will point to the appropriate location. So what I have done, I have written the data inside the block RAM. Now, after writing the data into the block RAM, I need to tell the DMA that, okay, you have the data, you need to copy the data, send to the IP, and receive the data from the IP, and receive the data from the IP, and then send it to the block. So I need to first define the two structure. One is of the type my AXI DMA, which I'll say my DMA, and another structure is the AXI DMA configure. So usually you will see that most of the functions need this is of the type pointer. So we'll use this one of the type pointer. Again, this comes with the practice and by looking at the .h file. But right now I'm giving all these details as it is to you. You can define it as a normal one, but right now we'll define it as a pointer. Okay, the things will be more clear as you look at the .h file and look at the function how they are using this pointer. Then what I need to do, as per the process, I need to first initialize this one. Okay, I need to copy the data from this one. So for that there is a function here which is the AXI DMA lookup config base address. Okay, so we need to give the base address. This function will look for the base address and copy all the configuration information. Okay, so use this function, and the output is of the pointer which we have defined. So we need to use this function. Okay, and the input to the function is a base address. Now base address of the DMA will be again present in the .h file. So this is the DMA. The base address of the DMA is this one. So we'll copy the base address of the DMA, and the output of the base address is this structure. Okay. Again, this process, there are examples are there. Okay. You can have a look at those examples. You can see that somewhere those examples, yeah, you can see that there will be examples will be there. In these examples, you can look into this entire process. Okay. Then I have got this configuration information. Now I need to do the configuration initialization. So you can see I'm going to use this configuration initialization. So I will pass this configuration one, and this will initialize in my DMA structure. So config initialize. So I'll give the address of this one so that the data will be copied here, and I'll pass the my configuration information to this function. So I got all the information of I got all the information in my both the structures which is needed for the getting the DMA work. Then what I need to do, I need to first I need to do the simple transfer. So there are two transfers I need to do. I need to read the data from the block RAM, and then I need to pass it to the IP. It is from the block RAM to the IP, like this from DMA to the IP, and then from the IP to my DMA and to the block RAM. So there are two transfers I need to do, and these are the simple transfer. That means these are like a not a burst transfer or the non-contiguous memory. It's a contiguous memory. You are going to take the contiguous 32 bits of data, and then you are going to pass those data to the IP. So there is this function called as a simple transfer. So this simple transfer, okay, what are the things are there to the simple transfer? You can see that you have the DMA pointer, you have the source address, how much data, and the direction. Okay, so what is my DMA pointer? That is this my DMA. What is your source address? If you are, let's see that we are copying the data from the block RAM to the IP. So I'm going to copy the data from my base address. So this is from the source address. Okay. Then how much data I'm going to copy? That is the length. Okay. So I'm going to copy the 8 data because that is what my size of the array is, and this is the size of the array, and each data is of the 32 bits, so that is the size of int. Okay, so I'm going to copy the this much amount, and then is the direction which where I'm going to write the data from the uh, DMA to the device or from the device to the DMA. So there is a direction. There is a proper value for the direction, and it should be defined in some value, so some file. So we need to see where it is defined. So you can see that the direction is either from the DMA to device or device to DMA. So you can see that what we are going to do from we are going to give it to the device. So we need to do the DMA to device. So this is my DMA. So what I am telling to the DMA that take the data take the data from this address, how much data, this much amount of data, and send it to the device. Now, before I send it to the device, I should make my DMA to accept the data from the device. So I need to do the similar transfer, but in the opposite direction. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the similar transfer, my DMA. What should be the base address? If I keep the base address same as this one, then I'll overwrite my input data. So what I'll do, I'll add this much to my base address so that I'll write the data at the next location where my read data is finished. I'm going to use the same amount of data because I'm doing the square root of all the elements, and instead of doing the transfer from the DMA to device, this will be to device to DMA. Okay, so this is what we do by the DMA configuration. Now I need to see whether my DMA has completed the configuration or not. Okay, so to check this one, you need to look into the IP, and inside the IP there is a status register. Okay, let's see if we can look at the status register of the DMA here. Okay, there is a status register. This is quite complex one because it has all the functionality for the scatter gather, but we are focusing on only on the status simple register. Okay, so you can see that there is a flag called as the halt-tailed flag in the MM2S DMA SR. Okay, because memory map to string, and this flag indicate that whether the DMA has completed the term. When the DMA it indicates the run and stop state of the DMA. Okay, if it is 0, that means DMA is running. If it is 1, that means DMA is halted. When means that means it has completed the operation. So what we are going to do, we are going to check this flag. So this flag is at the base address 4 and it is at the MSB. So what we are going to do, we are going to check the flag. Now, if you want to read the register, let's look at the DMA function, how I can read the register. Okay, so inside the DMA, we need to go through this function, and you will see that there should be some function to read the register inside the DMA. We can use the XIO function, or there should be a function inside the DMA which will help us to perform the read operation. Yeah, you can see that there is a function called as a XDMA read register. So what we are going to do, we are going to do the read register operation. Okay, on the read register, where we are going to read it. Okay, so what is the input to the read register is your base address plus offset. Okay, so what we need to do, what we need to read the second register. So that is a base address of my DMA is the this one. So this is my base address. Okay, so this is my base address, and my offset is the 0x4. Okay, because it's a second register, so that my offset is 0x4. So once you do this one, you will get the 32-bit register. Okay, so what we are going to get is the 32-bit register, but we want only the first bit, because if you go back to the register, you can see my first register, but I want only the first bit. So what I need to do, I need to do the AND operation. So for the AND operation, you can see that there is a in the xdmi.h there will be a proper mask they usually provide, which help us to which help us to mask the particular register. Okay, so if you go to this .h file, they should provide some mask. Okay, so you can see that in this AXI DMA channel halted or not. So you can see that this is the mask we can use to understand the state of the DMA. Okay, so this halted one is for the DMA channels. In each DMA, there are different channels are there, so you can do the parallel transfer. But this is not the mask. So we need this mask is there in the AXI HW.h file, and you can see that this is the halted flag mask. So here you can see that it is only the first bit it is extracting. So you can use this one, or directly you can use this one to extract the corresponding bit. So here what you can do is that you need to do the AND operation with this, so that you know the corresponding status. So this is okay. So what we are doing, we are checking the status. So this is the status for the MM to S channel, right? We have considered the status for the MM to S, that is memory map to stream. Similarly, there will be a same status for the uh, S to MM. Okay, so S to MM, you will see that there will be same status, and that if you see, you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so this S to MM is at 0, 4, yeah, 34 address. So the address is directly given, so at the 34 location. So offset is 34 from the 0. So this offset is 4 and this offset is 34. So we need to read this one for one direction S to MM and this one for the MM to S. So basically we'll just write a while loop to make sure that both the transfers are completed. Okay, so I'm going to check this status, and while status is not equal to 1, what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep on checking the same status. Okay, so this will keep on happening till your DMA transfer gets completed. And the same process I need to repeat for the status in another direction. Okay, so here instead of 4, I'll give the 34, and the same process will repeat. So what I am checking, whether my DMA transfer is completed or not. And finally is my return statement, so that my application will get successfully completed. Okay, so what we have done, we have done the simple transfer, and then we have just checking the status of your DMA. Okay, so this is a very simple code. You can see that the DMA is not that complex. It takes some time to understand this flow, but there are some design examples are given to understand how to set up the DMA. So this completes our DMA setup. So now we'll create the ELF file. Once the ELF file is completed, then we'll export into the Vivado. So what I'll do is your we'll just check the status of the ELF file. Okay, ELF file is generated. So now we'll switch back to the Vivado. Okay, so we are back in now Vivado. Uh, Here in the Vivado, we need to associate the ELF file which we have generated. So let's associate the ELF file. This is not the folder. Our is this HLS demo. This is the HLS folder. So lab 11 demo is the folder which we have created. SDK, then the SDK demo debug folder, and the ELF file. Okay, so this ELF file is added. Then we'll run the simulation. Okay, so there is one mistake in the test bench. It should be 1 instead of 100. So take care of this issue. Okay, so let's add few signals in your simulation window. So what we'll do is that we'll understand the DMA transactions. Okay, so you can see that this is the MM2S stream interface. So from this one, you are transferring the data to the IP. Okay, so this is the to the IP. So let's add the divider here. Okay, so DMA to IP. Okay, so then there is a slave AXIS S to MM. So this is from the IP. So this is IP to DMA. Okay. Then you have the MAXI MM2S. So this is you are reading from the block RAM and sending it to the DMA. Okay, so this is from block RAM to DMA. Okay. From DMA to block RAM. So this is the MAXI S2 MM. Then and there is a DMA configuration, that is this SAXI Lite. This is the configuration by the processor. DMA configuration. Okay, so this is the DMA configuration. Then what else we can see? Okay, so these are the related to the block RAM. Then we'll see what is going inside the block RAM. So let's add all these signals. So we'll see that this is the block RAM interface. Non-AXI block RAM interface. So all these signals will be in the block RAM. So this will be the actual block RAM signal from the AXI to the block RAM. Okay, so these are the signals we'll see. So let's run the simulation. Okay, some data has been, okay, something is working. Okay. So let's stop and see what is happening. Okay, so you can see that the data is being written inside the block RAM. And this is the input data. It will make it as an unsigned integer. And you can see that we are writing the data inside the block RAM. And the address, let's make it as an integer. So we want the address to be the zeros from the base address. We are writing the data inside the block RAM. Okay, so what we need to do is that we need to see when the enable signal is 1. Okay, and this is for the B. Okay, I think we have missed adding the enable signal for A. So let's add it now. So this is the block RAM. This is the block RAM. Okay, we have missed the signal, so let's add it now. I hope it is being captured. Okay, it is not captured, so let's run the simulation again. Okay, so let's stop it. So you can see that there is some write operation is happening inside the block RAM. And if you see what are these addresses, you will see that these addresses are 4, 8, and 16, and 4, 8, 12, and 16, and the data which we are writing from the block. So this is the processor is doing the write operation inside the block RAM using the XIO. Now your DMA will read the data from the block RAM. Okay, you will see that once you write the data, you are doing some DMA configuration on the this using this AXI light signal, and you can see that there are some uh, communication is happening. Okay, read and write. So you can look at this one later. So this is nothing but the DMA configuration. Now, after you do this block RAM writing, the first thing the DMA will do, it will read the data from the block RAM. So it will be memory mapped to string. Okay, so you can see that your first operation is the memory map to string. So in the memory map to the stream, you will see that there is a read address is going on. Okay, and then there is some data. So this is the one we want to focus on. Okay, so you can see that there is a read address, which is the block RAM first address, and then there is a corresponding data. So you can see that there is a burst transfer is happening. Okay. So this is the data. I'll just convert into the integer because a block RAM data which processor has stored, it is the integer data. So unsigned integer. So you can see that the data which we have written is now read by the DMA. Now, once this data is read, the DMA, the data will be passed to the IP. Okay. So you can see that the data will be passed to the IP. So after you do the DMA one, then there is a data will be passed to the IP. So if you see that the data is being passed to the IP. Okay, then the data will be passed to the IP to the first fixed to float. You can have a look at those signals later. There is a fixed to float IP. Then there is a after fixed to float, there will be a square root IP. Okay, you can see that the corresponding square root IP. The output of the square root IP will be sent to the DMA. Okay, so this is the IP to DMA. And if you look at where is this happening, you can see after some time this transaction is happening, and this data, now this data is in the single precision floating point. So you go to the real system, the real precision, then okay, and you can see that the square root of the 4 is 2, square root of 9 is 3, square root of 16 is 4, and then the fractional 1 because the rest of the values are doesn't have the proper integer square root. So output of the square root is given to the DMA, and this data will be forwarded to the DMA from the DMA to the block RAM. So you can see that this data will be forwarded after some time. Yeah. You can see that this data from the block RAM to DMA, the right address and the right data, it will be forward. And you can see that there is an offset we have added because initially we wrote the 8 data, then there is an offset we have added, and this is the data which is the square root data. Again, I'll convert into the single precision format, and you will see that the data which is being added, and this data is eventually written inside the block RAM at the appropriate address. So this is my input data. So I'll just convert into the single precision format, and you can see this is the data which is 2, 3, and being written into the block RAM. So this is how we have read the data from the block RAM via DMA, then perform the operation, and then wrote the data back to the block RAM inside the DM. Okay, so this complete task has been accomplished. Now, in the next video, we'll see how to create a IP inside the HLS and add the IP inside the this block diagram.